Hey, what's up? It's my third week here in Rio de Janeiro. I just decided to stay at this place for an extra month because of all this lockdown coronavirus craziness. And my schedule is honestly a little fucked up. Like, I haven't really exercised properly in about 3 weeks. And today, we're gonna go down to the beach, to this gym that I found, and we're gonna try to do some exercise. I wanna do this as like a daily habit. And we're also gonna talk about the daily and weekly habits that I've used in my life to not totally go off the rails during the lockdown. A lot of my daily stuff is exactly the same because I have been tweaking the knobs on these habits for years, trying to get them right so that I'm productive and happy and all this shit. So I'm gonna lay out what my habits are. So if you want to, you can copy them. All right, now let's talk about exercise. This is not just exercise. I'm trying to do 3 things at the same time. I'm trying to get cardio by running down to the beach or doing a little jog. Once I get down there, I'm gonna do like some pull-ups and shit like that to do some weights. And then third, I'm gonna wear as little as possible. So while I'm down there and running, I'm gonna be getting a tan. So I'm trying to triple up with this one daily thing because I'm fucking lazy. All right, speedo mode enabled. Let's get on the beach. Forgot I'm supposed to be jogging. Let's do that. All right, I'm here. I'm gonna see what kind of a workout I can get done with just this equipment sitting around. Those are the basics, but I don't have any sort of a push thing. Like normally I would push up like in a military press. Now a good body weight alternative for that is to do a handstand and then to push yourself up. Never fucking done that. Let's try. All right, that's how I get sent to the hospital. All right, and I'm gonna take a break for 7 minutes, and then I'm gonna do another set, another break for 7 minutes, one more set, finished. Now in the meantime, we're gonna do a little tour of Le Blanc while I tell you about the most important part of keeping your habits, which is having accountability. So accountability means if you don't do what you want to do, you feel pain. So before you even figure out what you wanna do, you need to figure out how are you going to make yourself feel pain. You have to figure out what's motivating for you. For me, every single thing that I do wrong, I have to pay my buddy in Singapore $12.5 US. And on some weeks, it's been like over $300 I've paid him because I've fucked up so badly. This last week was only 50 bucks, which is actually like my all-time low. So you've figured out how you're gonna motivate yourself. Then 2, you need to lock yourself into it with an actual fucking contract. So with my accountability partner, I have a Google Doc accountability contract. All the new stuff each month is updated with like highlights. It's yellow, so you can see it. And every single Sunday, he goes over this and a list of evidence that I have to send him by a certain time on Sunday, 5 p.m. And then he replies with, okay, here are the number of things that you've done wrong this week. Here's the amount that you need to pay. I check it and I send him PayPal for that amount. Okay, so you need 1, penalties that actually hurt you specifically, 2, a contract, and then 3rd, you need an accountability partner. Now, who would you use for an accountability partner? I recommend not going with your significant other romantic partner and not with somebody from work because you're gonna be sharing some personal shit. I'd go with just a solid, same-gendered friend. If you're a guy, go with a male friend. If you're a girl, I'd go with a girlfriend. If you're an other, I'd go with whatever you want. Now, once you set up those 3 things, now you have a framework for accountability that you can add things on top of. Before you set up these 3 things, you just have some wishes, some ambitions. All right, I'm gonna try these handstand push-ups again. If I go to the hospital, it's not gonna be because of COVID, it's gonna be because of these buggers. Okay, now after you have your accountability framework in place, you need to figure out what you want to actually use that for. So, for example, exercising. How am I going to prove that I exercise every single day like I want to? For stuff like this, I have an app called Daymine where I take a picture of something and it has a timestamp on it and it's unfakeable. So this is how I'm going to handcuff myself to actually working out here Monday to Saturday. I'm going to have to take a picture with my gym gloves here in this park by 12:30 maximum. What else am I tracking on a weekly basis? Well, I got my gym picture here. That's my new one. Now lower down, I have a couple days worth of to-do lists here. So every single night before 10:35, I have to take a picture of my to-do list for the next day. So that's Daymine. Now I'm going to show you how I use another app to track my app usage on my phone so I don't use it too much. On iOS, this is built into your phone. It's in settings. There's an app called Screen Time, which tracks everything you do on a pretty granular level. Now you can set up limits apps within screen time of like, I only want to use, you know, Tinder 30 minutes a day or something like that. But it's very easy to just cancel that and to use it as long as you want. So the way I use this is I send screenshots of the weekly view of specific apps every single Sunday. For example, I only want to use Google News less than a minute every single day, which is basically nothing. This entire week I use it 23 seconds. So that means I don't have to pay my buddy any penalties for this one app. And I also have that exact same 1 minute a day thing set up for the Google app, because what happens is you go into the Google app and you're trying to search for something and it immediately shows you, oh, here's the news of the day. And it can derail me very, very easily because Google knows exactly how to get my click. Same thing for YouTube, 1 minute a day maximum. I do watch YouTube on my laptop, but that's a little bit more like controlled and less compulsive than pulling it up on my phone. And then finally, podcasts and Spotify. I'm now doing only 5 seconds maximum on these things, because what I'd done before when I was doing a minute was I would load up a podcast, I'd push play, and then I would switch apps to something else. I was basically like trying to get around this rule and defeating the whole purpose of it. So now it's 5 seconds, not even long enough to get in and start playing a podcast. And you might be asking, I'm basically locking myself out of these apps 100% on my phone, so why don't I just delete the apps? The problem with that is that it's very easy to reinstall them, and then at that point, if you don't have any sort of tracking mechanism in place, you just be like, oh, I want to load up Tinder, download it, use Tinder all fucking day, and it's not part of your accountability system. If it's on your phone, and if you're using it less than a certain amount of time, you can actually track it and actually make sure you don't use that shit. Oh, and I forgot, a new one I just put in place a couple days ago was Instagram, 30 minutes a day max. And for Instagram, what I did was in the screen time app, I actually added a limit of 29 minutes. So when I hit that, I get a pop-up that says, hey shit, you just used 29 minutes. I can add 1 more minute if I want to use that. And then at that time, for me to break my own rule, I would have to actively push the button to add more time to that limit. And then I'd have to pay for that time, like $12.50 US or a little bit more Instagram, which for me is like, I'll wait till tomorrow. And on that same point, I have Buffer on my phone. So if I want to post an Instagram photo, but I'm out of time, I can still go into Buffer and load it up, put it in a caption, and send it off. All right, so we've talked about your accountability framework, we've talked about Daymine, and we've talked about screen time on iOS. Now let's do one last set. We'll get back up to my place. We're done, let's get out of here. Hey, look, that Rio statue. Shaky cam. This just started yesterday, and I extended my stay here for 30 days starting yesterday. So we'll see what happens. All right, I think the construction noise has ended. So let's talk about the most important thing about my accountability system, and I think anybody's accountability system, is sleep. If I don't get enough sleep, I am fucked. I am completely fucked. So if you want to start an accountability system, I totally recommend start with sleep. And I have 3 prongs to my sleep accountability system. First prong is this guy right here. This app is called Manic Time, and it's always running on my computer. I don't have to do anything with it. It's just passively tracking what apps I use and at what time. So the cool thing about this is at the end of the week, I can tell when I opened my computer and when I closed my computer. And you can see here, there is a pattern going on. Basically, 10:29 is the latest that I'm allowed to use my computer. So last week, 6 out of those 7 nights at 10:29, I like turned off my mouse and sat it down and just didn't touch my computer anymore. Or maybe I locked the screen, or maybe I turned it off. And of course, for this to have teeth, on Sunday, I take a screenshot of this and I send it to my friend in Singapore. Any times that I went over, I have to pay him. Okay, now my second prong for sleeping properly is this app called Sleeptown on iOS. And I open this up every single night. And before I go to sleep at 10:40, I have to push the sleep button on this thing. And then I have to put my phone down and not change apps. So I can open it up and I can like look at this app, but if I change apps, it's gonna like break my Sleeptown construction. And you can see at the end of the week, there's a report that says how many days that week you properly didn't touch your phone while I was sleeping. One of those days, I was fucking around with my phone and I switched it to a different app and I had to pay my friend for it. Now every night when I get this thing running, so I can't use it anymore until the morning, I put it here on my charger, and then this is the third prong of my sleep strategy, which is an Aura sleep tracking ring. So this thing slips onto your finger and it knows whether you're sleeping or not. You can see it's got some pretty cool sensors in here. This thing will measure your temperature and your heart rate variability and like how much motion information you have while you're sleeping to tell whether you're in REM sleep or different things like that. But what I mostly use it for is to get my ass into bed at a certain time. So by 11 p.m. sharp, I'm supposed to be lying in bed, motionless according to this ring. And that, for me, is as close as I can get to my goal of having my computer off, or at least not being able to touch it. I've got my phone charging over here, and I can't touch that. And then I have to freeze in bed starting at 11. And basically at that point, I can't get out of bed. There are no distractions for me to bring into bed. I can't like use my phone while I'm just lying there. So I'm basically painting myself into a corner where I'm lying in bed and I got nothing else to do but sleep. And that works pretty fucking well for me. Now, those are all my devices. I don't have like a TV with Netflix. I don't have an iPad or a tablet. I don't have an e-reader like a Kindle or a Kobo or anything like that. So basically, I'm pretty bored by the time I'm lying down in bed, nothing to distract me, and I just go to sleep. If you have multiple devices, you need to figure out how you're gonna track whether they're turned on or off so that you can be accountable. And like I was saying earlier, I found a loophole a couple weeks ago where I could play podcasts on my phone and then switch to that sleep app, and then the audio would keep playing and I could put my phone next to my bed while my hand was motionless and I could listen to a podcast. But that's actually not what I want in the long term for my life. Like, I want better sleep. In the moment at night when my willpower is shit, of course I want to listen to some entertaining podcast, but in the long term, that's not what I want. So I closed that loophole by only being allowed to use my podcast app or Spotify for 5 seconds every day. So those are the big ones. That's what I'm tracking right now on a day-to-day basis. Sleep, app usage, whether I've written my to-do list, and then now exercise. And you might be asking, no more meditation? Yeah, no more meditation. I kind of stopped that in the last year. When I was sunbathing, I would sometimes listen to meditation tracks, but I'm not doing that now because I'm running over to the beach to exercise and get my sun that way. So I don't know, well, maybe I'll add that in later. If I want to, I've got this very concrete framework that I can just add it in. I've actually got the text, right? The description. I've used a couple different apps over, just copy paste it into the thing, send it to my friend, and then I have to pay him. So I can start it up, I just haven't. Oh, and I almost forgot the fourth part of my sleep strategy, which is in the morning, I jump in the shower, either outside here, I've got another one in there, but once I'm wet, I'm awake. So I actually have to put this on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, and I have to tag the time. So it has to be before 8:30. So that's how I make sure that my alarm doesn't just go off and I go back to sleep, but it goes off, I actually get wet, and then at that point, I'm past the point of no return. I'm gonna wake up. That works for me. So that's the daily stuff. Then for the weekly stuff, every Monday morning before 12 o'clock, I have to send a list to my friend of things that I want to get done during the week. And it's like, Monday, I have to do this. Another thing on Monday, I have to do this. Tuesday, I have to do this. Wednesday, I have to do this. So every week, Monday at noon, I'm sending him a list of weekly business goals. And for each of those things, if I don't do it, if I don't send him proof by the deadline, it's 3 penalties. So that's $38.50 US if I don't do one of those. That's enough for me to be like, fuck it, I should just do the shit that I'm supposed to fucking be doing. Because I don't know about you, but for me, YouTube knows how to just reach into my chest and find that video that I want to watch and I have to watch, and I'm just powerless. And if I don't have a price tag on that video, if it's okay, I can watch this video, but it's gonna cost me $40 to watch this video because I'm not gonna get that thing done that I was supposed to get done, so I'm gonna feel like shit because I didn't get my shit done, and I'm gonna have to pay $40 to watch this video of somebody pressure crushing a phone book that bursts into it puts things in perspective. In your life, you want to make the good things easier and the bad things harder. That's what this accountability system is all about. It's about additional costs onto those things that in the short term are amazing, but in the long term don't help you at all. So yeah, I'm super geeky and super anal about this shit because I really don't have that much self-control. I really don't. So if you're like me and you don't have as much self-control as you want, I hope this helps you. And if you want my geeky take on sexuality, check out 6-Step Squirting, because just like this, me trying to get very granular on accountability and how do I do this in a line by line, tool by tool, screenshot by screenshot kind of way, with squirting orgasms, I've broken it all down. So you can just go through my 6 steps and you can make any girl squirt. Super geeky, super precise, super not, hey, let's music in the background. I'm gonna show you on this porn star here how to, like, you've seen my videos where I make just normal average amateur girls squirt. They're not paid, I don't pay them, they actually pay me to reserve the slot. Same thing for the model in my video. Unpaid amateur girl, just a normal girl next door, making her squirt, showing you with close-up HD footage how to do it. I've got 30 different hand positions that I go through one by one, plus the 6 steps. So you got 6 steps, you got 30 hand positions, that is all you need. So if you're in quarantine, if you're in lockdown, go to 6stepsquirting.com, learn some sex skills. I've got some free videos on there you can just watch for free. And then if you want the premium material, if you want the 6 steps and the 30 hand moves, you can get that and, you know, learn a new skill to impress your girl. Because what else are you doing? And that's it from me from Rio de Janeiro. I'm going to be here for another month. Tune in next week. I've got a new massage and a new vlog. Hope to see you there. Cheers.